Hey friends, welcome back to This Homeschooling Naturopath. If you're new here, my name's Hannah and I am a homeschooling mom of 3 girls who are 11, 9, and 7, and I'm also a fully qualified naturopath living in New Zealand. On this channel, I really like to share content related to homeschooling, homemaking, motherhood, as well as some naturopathic info throughout some of my content here. Today's video, we're taking you guys along for a little glimpse into what a Friday Enrichment Day looks like for us in our homeschool. Fridays tend to look a bit different to the rest of the week for us, and so I thought it would be fun to take you guys along for a Friday day in the life. Typically when I have filmed day in the life videos in the past, it's usually on a Monday, and Mondays and Fridays, you know, tend to look a little bit different. So if you're interested to see what a Friday Enrichment Day looks like for us, a little bit more relaxed, yeah, keep watching. So our Friday mornings start off much like any other day of our homeschooling week. My alarm goes off at 6:30 if I'm not already awake well before that time, and I immediately get on to making myself my morning coffee. So I am very much a morning person already. I love early mornings. It's my favorite time of day. But for my own personal discipline, it is actually very important for our family and for our homeschool to be successful that I am awake before my kids in the morning. It is what works best for our family. It is when I have that time by myself in the morning to get my intentions right and set everything up for the day. I'm just so much more focused, and I'm a better mother, honestly, because of it. And that is also the time of day where I get my video editing done. So I usually sit here for about an hour in the morning getting my editing done. Our girls are allowed to come out of their rooms and be up from 7 a.m. However, lately they have been sleeping in till 8:30, sometimes even 9. And the beauty of homeschooling is that they can do that and it doesn't set us back. So if the girls are not awake yet, I will just spend about a full hour editing my videos, and then around 8 I'll get up and start to do my morning tasks. So this morning I am making some apple cinnamon scones. If you guys follow around here, you know that I don't usually buy snacks, and so instead I just do baking, not every day, but most days. And on this particular day, we had a whole lot of organic apples that I got from our one of my friends' homesteads, and they've just been sitting here in a bag. So I've been slowly using them up in different baking recipes. They're not really the type of apples you want to just eat on their own, so I have been needing to get creative and incorporating them into a lot of different recipes lately. I've been making a lot of applesauce, apple fritters, apple fritter bread I made the other day. That was delicious. Apple muffins, and I've also just been whipping up some like cinnamon apples in the morning to go along with like our porridge and to put on our Dutch baby pancake and, you know, whatever we're eating for breakfast. My girls even put some of the warm cinnamon apples on their muesli the other day for make your own breakfast on Saturday. So yeah, anyway, I have a feeling by the end of this bag we're gonna be pretty appled out over here. Scones are actually one of the very first things I learned how to bake, and I taught myself how to bake. The Edmonds cookbook that I showed a few minutes ago was a gift from my mother-in-law when, oh gosh, I don't know, I might have been about 18. It might have been for my 18th birthday. And I actually learned so much from just reading the recipes in that book. And scones were probably the very first thing I ever taught myself how to bake. So making scones feels very nostalgic for me. Look, by about this point, it's about 8:30 now. All the girls are starting to wake up, and I have gone to get dressed while my scones were in the oven. And now I'm getting on to breakfast. We're having eggs on sourdough toast this morning, and bad news is that my sourdough obviously had some issues this past week, and so there's huge holes in the bread, but you know what? It is still edible, and that's the good news about it. So while I'm in the kitchen getting our breakfast ready, all of my girls have morning chores to attend to, which they are fully responsible for, and I am trying to make it my priority not to remind them of what they're supposed to be doing in the morning, but this includes your usual things like getting dressed, making your bed, brushing hair, brushing teeth, and then they all rotate through 3 specific chores. One of them is putting a load of laundry on, The other is emptying the dishwasher and then picking up dog poo. So They rotate through these every single day, and they get to do a new task every morning. Now, around 9 o'clock is when we will sit down for our morning basket and breakfast time. Breakfast and morning basket go hand in hand for us, and this morning I have high hopes to get through all of this stuff for our Friday enrichment. So Fridays, again, for us are our enrichment day, and so we do a lot more during morning basket time than we do any other day of the week, and that is what I'm going to be taking you guys through now.
Good morning, it's Thursday, March 13th, and this is World Watch. People crowded polls in Greenland yesterday for its parliamentary election. Turnout so high in its capital that voting stations extended hours.
The twig and twirls it around, then suddenly notices a $5 bill at the base of the tree. He points out the money to his friend. Just as Mac is about to jump up and get the money, his friend beats him to it and claims ownership. Mac is stunned. He saw the $5 bill first, but his friend insists that the money now is his. What should Mac do?
Doesn't matter, it's $25.
Wow.
Well, if he's actually a good friend, he'll probably let his friend do it.
Okay, so should he A, not say anything and just let his friend have the money? B, keep his cool and suggest that he and his friend split the money? C, insist that the money is his because he saw it first? D, argue for a while, then go home mad, vowing to never be friends with the boy again?
Well, if Willow... B.
Or E, challenge him to a fight?
If Willow... get $2.50. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like, if I saw it and then Willow grabbed it, then I'd be like, well, why don't we just split it? She'd probably agree.
Was that an option?
Yeah, well...
Oh, yeah, suggest he split the money. B.
But, like, I think Mac's friend would be like, no, what? I got it first. What are you talking about? That's what you would do if I had money and then you got it.
When someone claims something that we feel belongs to us, our human tendency is to lash out in anger and fight for what is ours. However, Proverbs teaches that rather than arguing, we should keep our cool and offer a solution that is acceptable to both parties. Good people will enjoy the positive results of their words.
But they're not playing a party. There's but so...
Oh, a party just means like a group of people. In this case, it's the two friends. Yeah, they're not having a party, you're right. Sometimes we say like a party of people. It just means like a group.
Like national party?
Yeah. Yeah, like a group, or in this case, it could be talking about one person.
So as soon as my girls finish eating their breakfast, they start practicing their button sewing, and they will usually continue sewing their buttons the whole way through our enrichment time here. And now, while they sew their buttons, we're going to learn about some native New Zealand birds.
Pururu and Karaka for gardening natives, and willow, broom and elms for the exotics. Set diverse diets is critical for New Zealand's native forests, given that they're the only birds remaining in the country with a wide enough gate to swallow through larger than 12 millimetres in diameter, and to be able to disperse the seeds whole again across a large area.
So it doesn't just eat around the berries.
Yeah, because like people just take bites to it and just leave it.
Yeah, a lot of birds.
Like
yeah.
seagulls with like apples and stuff.
Yeah, right, yeah. Whereas the kitty will eat the whole fruit, and then obviously the seeds will come straight out in their poo, which is great for the forest, right? Okie dokie. And that was really funny on that video. They were talking about them like gorging themselves and eating so much of the fruit that's already dropped to the ground that they like can't fly and they sort of look dead, but they're actually just effectively drunk from the fermented fruit that they've been eating. Hey, that'd be pretty crazy to see. Imagine if we're at the gardens and we see a kid, you would just assume it was dead, right?
Yeah.
That would be a little bit worrying. Okay, so let's take a look at their breeding. So they are monogamous, which means that they find a mate and they are mated with that mate for the rest of their life.
I get it.
Beautiful.
There you go. It goes, cool.
Beautiful. Good job. Oh, and a thumbs up. Nice. Okay, great. Okay, we're going to listen to a poem now by Robert Louis Stevenson. Oopsies. Now, also what I wanted
All across the dark we steer, but when the day returns at last, safe in my room beside the pier, I find my vessel fast. Artist. Let's see. What painting do we want to do today?
This
Should we do Starry Night?
Oh, this one.
Or
This
options?
one. Yeah, that one our mom just picked up. This one.
That
This
one?
one looks creepy.
Does look a little bit creepy.
Does it?
Want to do this creepy one?
Yeah, please.
Okay.
I don't want to be hanging on the wall.
You don't want to hang that on the wall?
Yeah.
Okay, right. Here we go. Let's set our timer and let's
Alexa,
take a look at
Set a
this.
timer for 2 minutes. I think that it kind of looks like an old man or old lady. It's like they're coming to stay over.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And how does this painting make you feel when you look at it?
Creepy.
It feels a bit creepy. Why? Why do you think that is?
Because I feel like that lady's
Okay, because their faces. What about like the color? How does like the color make you feel? Right, it's a bit dark. Yeah. Even though this painting lacks the usual vibrant pigments of his most famous works of art, how do you still recognize that this was created by him?
Because it doesn't look, it looks sad
Oh yeah.
and it doesn't really look that realistic. Also, their noses look weird.
Yeah, it's interesting. Hey, he didn't really paint a lot of faces, except for his own in that
I was
one.
like, that doesn't even have a face.
Yeah, yeah. So perhaps faces weren't his forte. But somehow it still looks like a Vincent van Gogh painting. Why do you think that might be?
Because of his little bit of colors and it is sad.
Because it's sad? Okay. I was thinking like the perception, like the depth of it. Because even though, again, we're looking at a flat piece of paper, it looks like we're looking straight into this room, right? Similar to most of his paintings that we've studied. It's like the depth of it and the perception that we see, the way that he paints, it makes everything look 3D, right? It's like you can see, we know that this painting is right on the back wall, right? And we can see this is like the back
Figures
of the
don't completely make sense. There's a sense of the perspective not being quite right. There's a sense of the anatomy being not quite.
So our Friday morning basket time usually takes us anywhere from about an hour to an hour and a half, just depending on how deep we go with conversations and stuff like that. But by this point in the morning, it's about 10:30 now, and I like to take a little bit of time to get the kitchen back in order, clean up everything that was left out from breakfast time. And while I'm doing that, the girls are usually just taking some time having some free play, and you'll see here in a second that they decided to set up a big candy store in the lounge today.
Would you like a candy stick?
Oh,
I am a homestay from Germany.
great.
I'm a homestay from Germany.
Wonderful.
Bubblegum.
Now, on a typical Friday enrichment day, we would have a field trip sometime mid-morning, afternoon. However, on this particular Friday, we don't have anything planned, and that's actually why I chose to film on this day. Looking at my calendar at the moment, we have something booked in every single Friday for like the next 3 months. So today was really the only day that I could film this enrichment day for you guys and not have to rush anywhere for a field trip. We love our Friday field trips. They really are a highlight of our week, but that does mean being a lot more organized than what you're seeing in today's video. Usually as soon as we finish our group enrichment time, we would move straight into my girls' independent enrichment subjects. They all have enrichment subjects, which I'll be showing you guys here in a minute. And usually they wouldn't have this free play time, and I wouldn't have this time to get my homemaking tasks done. So this Friday really is like a super relaxed, we don't have to rush out for a field trip type of Friday, which is great. So also around this time, 10:30, 11, everyone starts to get a little bit hungry for morning tea. Morning tea is just what we call morning snack time here in New Zealand. It's a very British thing, have your morning tea. We don't actually drink tea during this time, but it is just our morning snack time. We've been enjoying a lot of smoothies over our summer months here, and I've really just been trying to mix up the type of smoothies we've been having for morning tea lately. So this morning I thought I would do like a mango coconut, almost like a mango lassi type vibe. If you've ever had one of those, they're delicious. This did not really taste like that. I don't know how they get that super delicious mango flavor. I'm assuming it comes from a syrup. Ours didn't taste that sweet, but it was still really, really good, and the girls really enjoyed it. I decided to leave theirs a bit more thick so that they could eat it with a spoon, and then I made myself a slightly different version of it that I could have with a straw. And morning tea time is served, and while we eat morning tea this morning, we're going to play a Professor Noggin.
Is Uranus a gas giant, an ice giant, or a red dwarf?
Ice giant.
Yeah.
Ice
Huh?
giant. An ice giant.
Ice, yeah, good. Ice giant. Hey, this will be good to remember everything that we learned. Hey, okay, Atlanta, your turn. Mars. Should we roll the dice? Number 2. How long would it take to fly to Mars? 150 to 300 days, 2 to 5 years, or more than 5 years?
The first one.
Yeah, good, the first one.
Yeah, because it has a couple.
As soon as we finished eating our morning tea, the girls went back to playing, and that was great because it meant that I could carry on with some of my homemaking tasks before we had to sit down for their independent subjects. Their independent subjects on a Friday, again, look very different to the rest of the week. We do not do math on a Friday unless, of course, somebody has to. They each have 4 lessons of math a week, and so, of course, if they haven't done a lesson during the week, then they have to catch up on that Friday. For my oldest daughter's independent subjects that she does on a Friday, she's currently working through this great speeches book, which she is really, really enjoying. On a Friday, she also does Your Business Math. This is the bookstore from Simply Charlotte Mason, and then she also has Sustainable Nutrition from Forest Rain and Wander that she works through on a Friday as well. She's really enjoying all of her enrichment subjects, and these subjects are exclusive to Friday. For my middle daughter's enrichment, she uses that book there, which is just a simple story writing book. She will sit and write for a very long time with a beautiful piece of creative writing. She also has Growing Up with God from Gather Round Homeschool, Logic from the Critical Thinking Co., and then her language arts program is a 5-day-a-week program, so we are currently doing a lesson of language arts on a Friday for her as well. And then for my youngest daughter, she always reads a book 5 days a week. She reads me a story. Currently, we're working through The Good and the Beautiful Readers. She also has a story writing book that she will write in, and then she does Logic from the Critical Thinking Co. as well.
Is not the widest. Yeah, it must be. Because this one's the widest, right? Yeah, so that must be her house. Whoopsies. Flying pencils. Flying pencils. Okay. So, should we give this house to the girl then?
Yep.
Yep, okay.
Let's do that. Now, while I'm working with my youngest daughter, my older two will do whatever they can do independently without me. Right now, my middle daughter is working on rewriting her creative writing from last week that she wrote down in her book, and she is putting it onto the Chromebook. And my oldest daughter was busy reading through her speeches and doing her nutrition. My middle daughter comes next, and so I will help her with everything that she needs help with, and then my oldest daughter after that.
6 divided by 100 times that total.
6.
And that will give you the amount you need to add to it.
Wait, wouldn't it be like 0.6? 6 divided by 100.
Times that.
Once everyone has finished their independent enrichment subjects, that officially concludes our homeschooling day as well as our homeschooling week. So now we can really chill for the afternoon. Today for lunch, I'm making a sourdough gnocchi. We had a whole lot of leftover mashed potato from the night before, and who doesn't love turning mashed potato into pasta? I mean, wow. I have no idea where I printed that recipe for the sourdough gnocchi. It was one that I just Googled, and that's what I've been using for ever since I've been making gnocchi. I really love changing up our leftovers in this way. You know, instead of just simple leftover mashed potato for lunch, we can kind of reinvent it and do something new with it, which is always exciting. Now, while I'm in the kitchen getting our lunch ready here, my husband was actually home throughout the day today, so he and the kids were outside playing a game and getting started actually on some gardening. Our garden really needs some attention, so that's what they were doing. And then my oldest daughter actually came in to finish off the gnocchi for me, so again, I could continue doing a couple of other tasks. Gnocchi is a really good one because it is something that kids can so easily help with, and like as I say, my oldest daughter came and just completely finished off our lunch, which was really cool.
For today, yeah. And so we just have gnocchi with like this meat on top, and some salad and ranch and cheese sticks for my kids. That's lunch today.
We had some leftover slow-cooked brisket from the night before, so that is what we had on top of our gnocchi, and my youngest daughter said she didn't want any meat, but then proceeded to eat all of the meat off of my plate, but hey, that's okay. Now, to round off our Fridays, we always spin the wheel. This is our Friday homeschool incentive. If my girls complete all of their work throughout the week, they get 5 raffle tickets throughout the week, and 5 raffle tickets gets them a spin of our spinning wheel. So this is always a very fun and exciting way to end our week of homeschooling. Everyone always loves spinning the wheel and seeing what rewards that they can get. I do have a full video, which I will link down in the description box below, explaining how our spinning wheel and how our homeschool incentives work. All right, friends, the time now is about 4 o'clock. I've literally just finished cleaning the kitchen from lunchtime. I still hadn't really had time to clean up since lunch. After we ate and enjoyed that time out in the sun, we ended up taking the dog for a big walk and went along the beach, which was a lot of fun. I didn't want to take my camera with me just because when I take the dog out, especially being heavily pregnant at the moment, it's a lot of effort, and I wasn't prepared to put my camera in danger and get that in the middle of anything. Anyway, we now are going to rush to get ready for my husband's rugby game. If you don't know, my husband's a professional rugby player, and tonight his rugby team has a home game, so the girls and I are gonna get organized in our fan gear and all of that, and get ready to head to his game for the night. So that is where I'm going to wrap this up. Thank you so much for choosing to get to the end of this video and spend your time, your precious, valuable time, hanging out with us. I will catch you guys in the next video. Bye!